If there was ever an argument against resting your starters in a, quote, meaningless game in the regular season, it was this game. Week 17, Indianapolis Colts hosting the Houston Texans. The Colts had nothing to play for in terms of playoff sitting. They are already in at the number 5 seed. The Houston Texans had everything to play for. They win the game. They are the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs. If they lose the game, they could drop down to as far as 3rd place in the AFC in the playoffs. They would lose their first round bye. All kinds of implications for the Texans. And what happened in the game? The Texans lost. And they lost badly, 28-16 to the Colts. And a big reason why they lost is because Andrew Luck played very well, in particular on 3rd down. And Matt Schaub, Pro Bowl quarterback, played very poorly in this game, throwing 2 costly interceptions, both of them to Vontae Davis. Game started out with the Colts jumping out to a 7-0 lead, due in part to an outstanding opening drive orchestrated by Andrew Luck, culminated on a 1-yard touchdown pass off play action in the back of the end zone from Luck to his old Stanford buddy, Coby Fleener. Now, I have dogged Coby Fleener all season long. And Fleener played pretty well in this game, got his 2nd touchdown reception of the season. Colts went up 7-0. Texans hung around a little bit, kicked a couple of field goals. It was 7-6, and then the Colts got the ball back and were able to score on a 1-yard touchdown run by Vic Ballard. They went into halftime 14-6. Texans came out after halftime and had a magnificent drive to start the 3rd quarter, and it was capped by a 13-yard touchdown run by Arian Foster. All sorts of Colts players pathetically trying to tackle him, and he just walks his way into the end zone and then pays his respects to Chuck Pagano on the sign, the Chuck Strong sign there at the back of the end zone. Very, very classy move by Arian Foster. Very classy. Respect you, Arian Foster, even though your team lost today. Speaking of how you lost, Texans eventually retook the lead on a field goal, and then the Colts on the very next drive, Texans kicked off, and Deji Kareem, who was not part of the Colts 53-man roster for much of the year, he was cut prior to Week 1 against the Chicago Bears as part of the 53-man cutdown, brought back after the Colts lost Donald Brown for the year, and after DeLone Carter was put on the injured list. He's not out for the season, but he was out for the remainder of the regular season. You might see him in the playoffs. He was brought in as a kick returner, and Deji Kareem ran the ball back 101 yards for a touchdown. You look at this return, Kareem makes no moves, like at all. He just runs and runs and runs all the way into the end zone. Touchdown, Colts score, they take the lead, and they would never relinquish that lead. Next drive, Texans try to get back in the game. Matt Schaub just threw a terrible interception. Here he is trying to throw the ball to Andre Johnson, and Vontae Davis is right there. It looks like he's trying to throw the ball to Vontae Davis. Vontae Davis makes a great over-the-shoulder catch. I think Vontae Davis should play wide receiver today for the Colts as opposed to anybody else. There were 4 drops today by Colt receivers. Vontae Davis, though he played poorly covering Andre Johnson, Andre had 12 receptions against Vontae Davis today from what I counted. Matt Schaub tried to pick on him a little too much. Vontae made him pay. He had 2 picks in one game. That's a pretty good game. Vontae had a pretty good game. Both those games killed potential scoring drives for the Texans. Very next series, Colts got the ball. The Texans got the Colts exactly where they wanted them to be. 3rd and 23. Texans look like they're going to get the ball back in good field position. And then Andrew Luck did what Andrew Luck has done all season long in the 4th quarter, and that's make plays. And he found T.Y. Hilton on a 70-yard touchdown bomb. T.Y. Hilton just blew past the entire Texans secondary, and that is a very pretty football thrown by Andrew Luck. Remember when people said Andrew Luck didn't have a very strong arm? Beginning of the year, yeah, those people might have been dumb. That was a pretty nice little throw there by Andrew Luck. T.Y. Hilton scores. Colts go up 28-16, and that is what they win by. They're able to get the ball back and run the football right down Houston's throat. And as a result, they were able to kill the clock, kneel down in victory formation, and win. Colts finished their season 11-5. No one, not me and not Matt Ufford, no one picked 11-5 for the Colts. They finished 2nd in the AFC South. I think they would finish 2nd, by the way, just throwing that out there. I didn't think they'd make the playoffs, but I think they would finish 2nd. So that's something, right? That's something. Even more than something, they're in the playoffs. They will not host. They will go to Baltimore next week in the wild card round. We don't know what the Houston Texans will look like yet, but the way it looks right now, with New England winning and with Denver winning, Houston might be number 3 in the AFC playoffs, and that is amazing. The Texans have looked horrible in December, and the Colts have looked very good. Colts have looked great all year. This is a wonderful football game. Chuck Pagano back on the sidelines after missing 3 months dealing with cancer treatments. Wonderful game for him. Wonderful moment after the game when he was seen dancing in the locker room with his team. Just a great season overall. 11-5. They were 2-14 last year. What's not to love? For Stampede Blue and SB Nation, I'm Brad Wells. I'm very happy right now.